Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome to Rowdies Live on the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel. Good to see you, gentlemen. How are you?
Great, mate.
Good. We've got 50% rowdy power today here.
Oh,
but luckily, we've got the handsome too.
Oh, you're such
Which makes all the difference, you see.
I know. What do you want, Brian?
But, it doesn't matter what I want, I'll never get it. Life's not like that. Well, good to see you, gentlemen. How are you both?
Yeah, great, man. And nice to see you too, man. Nice to see you. How's it going in Canada?
Oh, hot here today. It's probably hit its peak in the prairies here in terms of heat, but I think it's meant to cool down a little bit tomorrow. It's not that bad. It's not like the kind of heat that it's not 40 centigrade. It's more like
we had
33.
a British summer. Yeah, we had British summer yesterday. It was hot.
You had it. You had that
one day. It was fantastic, man. Went to the beach, everything. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so it was
shit again today.
It was on a Wednesday this year. Okay,
it was on a Wednesday.
Same as us up north. We got Wednesday, and today it was just looks like it's going to rain any second.
Any second.
All right, yeah. Oh,
Gotta keep up the reputation.
Exactly. It is good to see you guys all the way over there in the US of K, the UK. So thank you for being here yet again, gentlemen, on your channel on this show. Appreciate it very much. Granny's working, and Mal, it's his birthday. We're going to sing him happy birthday, but he's not here yet. So
he doesn't show up to his own party.
That's right. Yeah, I think he's obviously the substances and ladies of ill repute have arrived, so he is unable to join the stream.
The party is begun.
Yeah. So
around the mountain, then we'll have to go around there and
yeah, exactly. Good
relieve him of all these people.
Afternoon to everybody out there listening. I can see Davina in the chat. Hi, Davina. Good to see you. And please, hey, Davina, hit that thumbs up button. Share the stream out. We're doing our best to get the channel some more love and attention. Spreading the word, building it up, slow but sure, and everything you guys can do to help us with sharing stuff out is welcome. So thank you, and we'll be chatting to you all as we go. So I know we mentioned Mal's birthday. He's 94 today, I think. Mal Craigs. So I think his telegram from Charles will be here soon. But there was another gentleman, Mark, you were talking about. You bumped into not so long ago, I think, that so a chap called
talking about little birthday celebrations. Yeah, I was just in a pub last night, believe it or not, and I met a guy called Rick Graham's cousin, who started to tell me about his career, and it's almost parallel to us all. He I believe grew up in Plymouth. Went to London busking to survive, joined up with, I think he got a gig with the Kinks, and he was with them for years and a bunch of other bands as well. I can't remember who she said. But, and then he hooked up with Kasabian when they formed, and they're a big band in the UK. I don't know about the States. But, yeah, sadly, he came to an awful end a couple of years ago, delivering their gear to rehearsals. Driving the van, he had a heart attack on the way and crashed the van, and and so I just wanted a little tip of the hat.
Yeah,
it's respect, because he's he's another lifer, roadie, crew, sound man, whatever, as we all are. And but what I do want to just mention on that point, you can take that picture away, but whatever we're going to sing happy birthday tomorrow. Anyway,
well, he's not here, but there's a few seconds of this. This was Rick on stage with Kasabian, and they were singing him happy birthday in 2012, I think this is.
Yeah, so it's his 65th.
So rest in peace, Rick Graham. Thank you for your road warrior service, sir.
God rest, my friend. God rest.
Yeah, God rest you. And I did a stream on the Kinks on Monday, so I'd like to thank Rick for all his work with that wonderful band.
All right. But I mean, the point is, I think most people don't understand, or people not in the business, is that there's a huge camaraderie between the crew and musicians. It's not a sort of
Mm.
them and us thing because you're all on the road together. You're living, working, breathing together, and the bands really respect what the crew does for them. It may not appear so sometimes, and you do get the old divas that don't think like that. But Wilco, you mentioned today. What's her name? Big pop star lady.
I don't know,
What's her
but
name? Yeah.
well, with the average white band, we used to sing the average white band's the only life for me. We're in the army of the average white band. I mean, every band I've worked for, I'm still in touch with 90% of them.
Yeah.
Tremolo.
I mean, a similar thing we were doing with Martin Turner. We were doing a gig.
Dustin.
Hi, Dustin.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
We were doing a gig in Glasgow a year or so ago, and my birthday falls around the Christmas time. Anyway, it wasn't about a birthday, but we stopped at a music shop on the way out of town, and I'm looking over in the window, and I can see this white Stratocaster with a maple neck, which is my favorite guitar.
Mm.
And I'm sort of thinking, shall I? And I thought, no, I won't go in because I'm tempted to buy it if I go in the shop. Anyway, a couple of days later, last gig of the tour, sound check done. The guys gathered around me and presented me with this.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Now, what band was that, Mark?
Well, it's Martin Turner's band.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just pointing out the regard that the musicians have for their crew and stuff like that. I'm their sound guy. They even signed it for me, but it's all worn off because I've been gigging a lot with it.
It's more than just a working relationship in many cases.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And there was I can't think of her name at the moment. Big star at the moment. She sells billions of records. But Wilco, you mentioned it. Yeah. Not Adele.
Taylor Swift.
No, it's
Elkie? No.
No. What current star?
Adele.
No.
That's what I said.
Anyway,
whoever she is,
we'll get back to it. But she's just giving out bonuses to their crew worth millions.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, she gave like $100,000 to each of her truck drivers.
I know, that's incredible.
Well, total was 55 million.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, she's got it. But I mean, what kind? It's just appreciation. I mean, it's for what nice. Crews do, and but we're all part of it. So it is, and it's a nice feeling when you get that camaraderie.
You can't do.
It makes it all worthwhile.
They can't do what they do without you guys.
Right.
They realize that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's nice.
We had an average white band fan getting a bit crazy with the rock and roll Rowdies. What do these guys keep popping up about and all that stuff? And I finally just said, look, who do you think put them on stage? Who do you think got them to Los Angeles, New York? Who
Everything.
did the sound for them? Who did the back line? Who set all this up?
Who bailed them out? Who bailed them out?
Yeah. Again.
There is that. There's a few stories on that.
So, Mark, with the guitar, what I want to know is which one of the band ran into the music store and grabbed that guitar off the wall and ran out again?
Well, I don't know, actually. It just appeared on the stage in a box, 2 days later, so they must have sneaked it from somewhere. I don't know where, but it's exactly what I wanted, and I've been playing it.
Is that the one I've seen you playing on videos that you've seen?
Possibly not.
This
was 2 Christmases ago or around that time. We'd just done the ferry in Glasgow.
I've been to many gigs there, many gigs at the ferry.
There's an iconic, up-to-date gig, which is something we're going to talk about another time. Right, all the gigs that are iconic that now supporting classic rock music.
Well, there's an endless list of venues. I mean, it's easier to list the venues you guys haven't worked at, I think, because you've worked at so many, both old and new, as you're saying, Mark. New stuff that's on the circuit now. There's lots of venues like the ferry that are really that's a fixture now in Glasgow. That one. I mean,
that's right. They're not new, but they're supporting the classic rock stuff. You've got the 100 Club in London. That's been going since the Marquee.
Oh, that was a big punk venue as well for a long time.
Yeah, it's been through. It was jazz and then punk, and it's McCartney's played there. Everybody's played there.
So we do want to talk about more of these venues today that you guys have experienced and some of the special things you did there. The one that we did touch on a couple last week, but one that we didn't talk. We mentioned, but we didn't talk in detail. It was Radio City Music Hall.
And I'm looking at this backstage. I mean, I can see right there as you go down on your right. That's where all the dressing rooms were. And I would look out of those windows of the audience that were wrapped around the building.
Yeah.
The Average White Band and Marvin Gaye played.
Yeah, I've actually been inside it, not to a gig, but just went inside for a look around to let us go in and take a look. And it's a beautiful place. I mean,
wow. That is beautiful.
Yeah. This was
go on.
No, you go ahead, mate.
Well, it's beautiful, but a lot of people have got to understand as well as backstage, it was pretty small. And a lot of stairs. It was floor after floor after floor, like maybe 2 or 3 dressing rooms on each floor.
Yeah.
I think that's the same with a lot of the old buildings. Yeah. Your Massey Hall in Toronto, same shit. That one of the oldest buildings in downtown Toronto, I think.
Yeah. It's another one that we could talk about a lot in future because everyone's played there at the Massey Hall. I mean, not just rock acts, of course, all sorts of things, comedy stuff. But you did some Average White Band gigs there, Wilco, yeah?
That was the Palladium. That was the Palladium in Los Angeles. Now, that gig was basically we had about backstage. It's like there was 3 dressing rooms, and it was backstage. I had Teddy Pendergrass, Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, Cher, but she was married to Greg Allman. Joe Cocker popped in and out, and about 30 people from Atlantic Records, New York and Los Angeles. So it was completely mental. And then finally, after 2 hours of that, I just threw them all out. I mean, it really was wall to wall.
So this is the Palladium.
Yeah, this is
where Marvin Gaye joined them, and I think it was. Am I right in saying it was a Halloween party?
That I can't remember because every gig I was Halloween.
October 31st, 1976, Halloween party.
It was right there.
Yeah, the Average White Band's Halloween dance party. Special guests, the Meters, the Neville brothers.
Right, cool. Yeah.
And so you had all these stars backstage. Did the band know that Marvin Gaye was going to join them?
Oh yes, we'd been bumping into him and doing different gigs with him. And as I said, he was backstage, and the Palladium's a real awkward gig because the stage is at one end, and you had to walk him all the way through the audience.
Oops, I've got ahead.
To go to this step of stairs where you go up, and you come back around again, and that was the green room. So you're looking at the stage. So when I got everybody, the famous quote from Molly Duncan, God bless him. When I threw everybody out, I was getting the guys ready to go on stage. It was, Wilco, no vodka, no horn player.
So there was no vodka
backstage. So I ran up front of the bar, just took a bottle of vodka, got the band on, and had a very large whiskey. I'm just sitting there for about 20 minutes, just by myself to chill out. And then I went, hang on, what am I doing? So I look up and Hamish is going, pointing up to the green room. And I'm like, the Average White Band used to finish with I Heard Through the Grapevine. So the Palladium was wall-to-wall people. So I punched my way up to the green room, and Marvin's looking at me, and I'm like, phone call, you're just trying to get him up there. He's with his family, his wife, his kids, his entourage, and he's like, no, and I'm going, it took me a good 10, 15 minutes to drag him through the audience. Just imagine, no security. I'm punching people, nutting people, getting people out of the way, and he's just holding on to me. We get backstage, And just as he gets to the stage, he goes, "What do you want?" And it was like, ding, 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 ding. He went, "You're kidding me." I went, "No, have a nice time." And just
That's
threw
right.
him
On you go.
And it was
Shoving
like,
Marvin Gaye out. Shove him out.
I did. I literally shoved him on stage, but the volume from the audience, it must have bounced off the
imagine,
walls.
man. Yeah.
I mean, the walls were like vibrating. It was like boom, boom. And I just stood there and I went, "What the F is that?" And it went on for about 7-10 minutes,
Yeah,
And then he just started singing and playing, and there's the photograph. It was just
that's a beautiful photograph. Yeah. I believe you went out to his ranch though a few nights later.
2 nights after that, we went up to Hollywood Hills where he lived at the time.
Yeah,
We all played pool. I won.
of course you did.
No, I did. I couldn't believe it. I
Remember
did a shot
that?
I couldn't believe. It wasn't one of those shots either.
Iconic games of pool we got around the world.
That's another one. Yeah. That's an entire series of shows on its own. But
Yeah,
So that's the Hollywood Palladium. The poster. I do love the poster is. It's look who else has played Neil Young. See, we've got Neil Young with us today. Mark looks like Neil Young today, don't you think?
Right.
I'm on my crazy horse.
He's on his crazy horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are breaking news. We are being joined by the officially the oldest man on the stream. To you, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, that's a bit weak, guys. Give me it.
Happy birthday, dear Mal. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, he's all you've had. So
He's not a jolly good fellow.
he's not. Did you get your telegram from the king?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because you're officially 100 now, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it. I've just been out for dinner. It is my birthday. You may or may not have noticed. I've just been out for dinner and coming back, it was just horrendous.
Yeah.
One of those traffic situations. And I do apologize for being a little late.
Oh, don't worry about it, mate. Good to see
For a
you.
guy, for a guy that was a tour manager and was, time was crucial.
Yeah.
For me, it was such a stress getting back here.
Oh, I know what you mean. I'm a project manager. I hate being late. I hate lateness.
You're late for your own birthday party, mate.
Yeah.
No, I've just been and done that. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Okay.
Anyway, we were just Wilco was just telling us about his Hollywood Palladium days with the average white man. The radio. We talked about Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah.
Hollywood Palladium. Is that what it looked like then, Wilco, or is this more of
Yeah, that's the original, I believe.
Yeah, it's very Art Deco. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very Art Deco. It's a fantastic gig.
So I'm assuming.
Just on behalf of the average white man,
playing,
on behalf of the average white man, I mean, they are a very soulful bunch of guys. I mean, they didn't play soul music for no reason. It was from the heart. And Marvin Gaye was one of their absolute icons. And to have him join on Heard It Through the Grapevine for them must have been just heart-pouring, absolutely awesome, It
would be a night that would stand out for everybody forever, I think. In that kind of,
definitely.
So you, Mark,
the heart and brain for the rest of my life because I was there. It was just incredible.
Mark and Mal, you guys have probably done gigs at the Palladium too, then.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever done a gig there.
I don't think I did either. I went to gigs there.
Right.
Whenever I was in LA and stuff, there's always someone on.
Yeah.
No, that was just for special people.
Yeah, this is roughly what the AWB were looking like. That's not this. I don't think this is from that gig, but it's roughly what they were looking like at that time.
Yeah.
That was our production. The backdrop. That was it.
That was it.
This is from the same era. It may even be that gig. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But what a momentous occasion for a bunch of Scottish guys to play with Marvin Gaye.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
When you also think of the timing, I mean, that was still number one. I mean, Everybody was still playing Pick Up the Pieces and the album. And Mal has worked with these bands that were number one with $1 million worth of production. We had a backdrop and about 10 lights because it was all about the music. You know, that's what they didn't want it. We tried to sit them down and go, let's work out a light thing and all that. And we're like, why? You know, it was all about the music.
For sure. No, great times, and we'll do an entire video on that someday. That particular gig, it's in the list of. We're going to start doing 10, 15-minute long segments recorded that we can put out as videos of just talking about individual events like that. So that's top of the list or near the top of the list. But I did want to move on to one that, Mark, you've got a lot of fond memories of. And you sent me this picture. This is the warehouse.
That is the warehouse in New Orleans.
Now, is that what it looks like? That's kind of what it looks like now, I guess. Or is it
no, it has been demolished 1979, I think, or 82 or something like that.
Because I've seen pictures like this on the documentary of it. It looks entirely different.
Right. That's the one I remember.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but that's the only picture I could come up with. But it looks pretty genuine. Maybe that was the other side of it or something. I don't know.
They may have moved. I know that there's a big. It was demolished, but there's a big monument to it now, like a little park area with 3 big plinths, and it's got all the bands that played there on it.
It was demolished in 89.
Yeah, but this is what it looked like inside.
That's the original one, Mark. Yeah. That one. Which is, I think that other one that you've got the picture of, Mark, is possibly the new one or the second, version.
Yeah, I remember this. The Allman Brothers right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
It had such a low ceiling, didn't it? It was sweaty. You sweated in that place.
It was fantastic. It'd be packed, and it would be so hot because New Orleans is hot anyway, humid and sweaty anyway, and then you get 1,000 people or whatever it was in there, man. It was just dripping. But what an atmosphere!
Literally dripping.
Look at it: wooden ceiling, wooden beams. It's true warehouse. Like
I'm surprised it didn't rock down, with the vibrations.
Plus the smoking, everyone's smoking then, so you think there'd be a fire risk.
And it's like 100 degrees with 100% humidity in Louisiana.
That's right. Double that in the venue.
So but Wishbone Ash played there a number of times, Mark. What were your first impressions of New Orleans when you got there for the first time?
Mark, I'm sorry, just repeat that.
What were your first impressions of New Orleans when you got there for the first time ever?
Fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. Because we were staying at the Marie Antoinette, right in the center of French Quarter. And we I remember the restaurant we went to, the steak pit or the snake pit, down some little alleyway into this tiny little restaurant. Fantastic food. I don't know what it's like now. It's probably very commercialized now, but back then it was really authentic. It was really down home. Music almost in every bar.
Someplace, yeah. I mean, I've been there since, but I was never there in those days. Obviously, it must have been pretty raw. I would have thought rootsy.
Mark, I don't know if you can remember or not. We got off the plane one time. This definitely Wishbone. I think it was the first time I went there with Wishbone, and as we were met by one of those New Orleans jazz bands, and they were playing like as the Saints come marching in. As we were walking through the airport, these guys walked in front of us playing this New Orleans jazz stuff. It was mind blowing. Could not believe it.
Wasn't like the opening of Live and Let Die where they kill the guy and stick him in the coffin.
Exactly.
Well, look at that. CC Top and Wishbone Ash.
Well, that's the ticket. I've got a picture of that ticket. Look at the bands that were playing that you guys worked with.
Allman Brothers,
King Crimson, Robert Palmer.
Yeah.
They've all been there. Pink Floyd, Uriah Heep.
King Crimson, Robert Palmer.
Yeah.
This
is just a small selection.
That looks like my CV. It does.
It's
Be
incredible. The
News.
Foghat, a band that nobody knew was British. Foghat, a British band.
Foghat's
Yeah.
British?
Yes, they're a
Yeah.
British
Yeah,
band.
we toured right across Canada with Foghat. We did a whole
Shit,
bunch
I
of
was
gigs.
today years old when I found that out.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're a southern rock band. They're British.
Yeah.
Holy
$3.
Beaver Productions.
So that's
Yeah.
Beaver Productions. How appropriate.
Yeah.
Friday, June 16th, 1972, supporting, well, it's a double bill, not supporting, ZZ Top, Wishbone Ash. Tell us about that gig, Mark.
We also did it with Joe Walsh
Yeah.
with Barnstorm. And Rocky Mountain Way was just, I think, went to #1 right that week as well. So I mean, it was just wild. It was absolutely wonderful. And
Look at
ZZ
this
Top,
one.
we did a load of gigs with ZZ Top right across Texas and stuff.
Must have been
You know, but
fun.
there's the famous one that we did with ZZ Top, which the band wrote a song about, where the hot dog guy got shot, and it was an open air gig. It was when ZZ were just playing on the back of a flatbed truck,
Hmm.
and
Oh yeah.
yeah, you remember that, Mal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot all about it, Mark. Now you're mentioning it. The hot dog seller getting shot.
Rock and Roll Widow. Yeah,
Rock and Roll Widow, okay. But this, there's some great posters here. This is November 3rd. I can't remember the year, 71, 72, with Captain Beyond.
Wow.
Wishbone Ash.
I don't remember them, but
Wishbone Ash,
No.
Captain Beyond. 72, Friday, November 3rd, 72 at the
Yeah,
Warehouse.
And
And there's a picture of the band on that night.
wow.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. That's how I remember it. A brick built stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
just
incredible.
Solid brick built stage and that
Can you
roof.
imagine moving the stage? Hey, move the stage over there, will you?
That's right. Yeah. The brick would be the only thing that wouldn't burn down if the place.
that's
was
right.
built
Look
like
at the
this.
state of it. Yeah, it really was a warehouse. About as
can-
rustic as you could get.
You can see how tall that stage is because that guy's got his arms
Yeah.
up there like that.
There
It's
was
a
there's a venue in Detroit. It's called Harpo's. I don't know if you guys ever worked there or not, but the stage is so tall that, like, if you're standing in front of it, you can't see the band. And we played a band that I was in years ago, tried to play, and like I had to lay on my belly and reach down the stage, and someone was reaching up to hand me something. It was like a 12-foot stage. It was ridiculous.
I hate to be
Yeah,
a
that's
roadie at
good.
that gig. Jesus.
That's good, depending on the band. That's good. Keep them
In the
away.
middle of Detroit, it was
Good
scary.
security. Good for security.
Well,
Yeah,
we're going to
yeah.
talk about the Rainbow later a little bit, but the Rainbow had didn't have a very, very high stage, and Frank Zappa got shoved off it and ended up in hospital. So they ended up building some kind of ramp to make it less dangerous.
Is this
I
the
don't
Rainbow
think
in
it
LA
was
or the
Rainbow.
Rainbow?
no, sorry, Finsbury,
London.
Oh
Astoria.
yeah, that was a huge stage.
Yeah, it used to be the Astoria. I guess it got rebranded the Rainbow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, we could do, and we will, Mark, and you, or anyone that wants to, we'll do a particular video. We'll do a video about the warehouse and your gigs there. You know, I think today we're just kind of skimming the surface, but what an incredible place to play. I mean, look at that picture. It's just.
Yeah, that's
else.
classic, mate. That is
That
rock and
was-
roll history.
That's
That was
rock and roll.
rock and roll. That's when rock and roll was raw. You know,
Yeah.
it was just.
So, Mark, what was the sound like in there? Because I was
It
always backstage.
It was good. It was actually good. We were using a PA from Detroit, actually, that we took on the road with us. And I seem to remember it had this miniature desk. And it was like 32 tracks, but it was just really tiny, little tiny knobs to control. But anyway, it was great because we carried our own PA with monitors as well. Can't actually see any monitors there, but it was good. I mean, it was just hot and sweaty, and it didn't
rock
really
and roll.
fucking matter as long as it
With
was
all
loud.
that wood, it would the wood would dampen it down anyway. Would
Yeah.
dampen the sound down anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
reverberating. Yeah, it was good.
Rudimentary light show. No
look
cloth
at that
or
light.
other,
It
no
looks like
backdrop with images, just rock
Well,
and
look
roll.
at that light. It looks like it's a KFC box.
That's right. It does, doesn't it?
I
For
think
those who
Hey,
who
that's
only-
what
left
New
from the
Orleans
green room.
probably
That
was
was
fried
our money.
chicken.
it could have been a KFC box.
Kentucky Fried Chicken time.
So a great place, the Warehouse. Tons of bands played there. I mean, when I looked at those tickets, I thought, my God, is there anybody who hasn't played in that place? You know, it's just incredible.
That would make a great T-shirt, by the way. If you can get
Oh
one.
yeah,
Let's do
It'd be
it.
a great T-shirt.
Let's do it.
Red T-shirts.
well, Rowdies t-shirts, indeed, we need that. So moving along, because obviously we only have an hour. And I'm glad Mal's here because Mal's got some stuff to talk about. You're going to make him talk, even though he's nearly asleep right now.
He is asleep.
He is.
That's
Mal,
because I've not had a drink on my birthday.
So we're going to move to one of the more iconic arenas, stadiums in the world, Wembley Stadium.
Which
the old one, not the new one. The old one.
It in itself as a sporting stadium, of course, England won the World Cup there in 1966.
Well, I'm glad
we're just about to do it again in Australia.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned
Brian,
that because
Brian,
this is actually more important than that. This is the most.
Yeah, look, typical Scots trashing the place. Trashing the place.
Yeah, this is so. Yes, it's true. It's an iconic. Yeah. It was an iconic.
They beat England once, and this is what happens. They clashed the place.
You can keep your World Cup. There's many a garden in Scotland that's got that lawn still growing in it to this day.
just like I have a piece of Anfield grown in my garden.
That's right. Yeah. So, but seriously, Wembley Stadium had some of the biggest gigs throughout the 70s and 80s. You worked some of those. Obviously, I don't think we're going to dwell on Live Aid too much today.
No.
That's a show its own.
That was obviously a big special event, worldwide event, not local. To London, like Wembley Stadium was. That was a special worldwide. But that was a strictly one-off.
But I do have.
I did with Phil Collins, and so I did Wembley Stadium in London and the JFK Stadium in Philadelphia.
Well, if you're willing to indulge me, I have a little clip to play to prove that you were there. There's a certain good-looking gentleman called Mal.
There he is.
I found that clip.
Brian, I don't know how you find these clips of me.
I had some Live Aid footage.
I'm starting to feel stalled.
That's Mal. I had Live Aid footage. But yeah, so that was Live Aid. We're going to do shows on that, and obviously the JFK side too. But you didn't just do that. You also ended up doing, because you worked very closely with Phil Collins and Genesis, you did the Wembley Arena, Wembley Stadium, as they call it, in July '87 with Genesis. I think it might even be more than one night. Maybe it was.
We done the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Of July. And we were the first band. Genesis were the first band ever to do 4 nights at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, I got a tiny
Wembley Stadium.
I just want to give everyone a little look at what that looked like. This is the opening of Abacab, but you can see 100,000 people, 100,000 people easy.
And we done 4 nights there.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Quite the thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's gives you an idea of the scale of the thing. Now, what is it like having to put on a huge or organize an enormous stage set like that in a big arena compared to a smaller, say, theatre gig?
Well, it's not massive, isn't
it? There is no comparison, Brian. There really is no comparison to something like that on that scale, 100,000 people to 4,000 people. Certain things remain the same. The band, the back line, that will all, not much will change there. but the production wise, it just grows. You know, everything about it grows.
Yeah.
Security, production, everything.
Well, I would think that production would have went in the day before.
Oh,
You know,
probably 2 days
Yeah,
before.
probably.
Yeah, they probably brought that production.
Yeah,
in the day
that was
before.
probably it was probably a 3-day build for that.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
you did a world tour with Pink Floyd doing
Well,
stadiums of that size, didn't you? With
yeah, but this was prior to. This was prior to, and
There's the Pink Floyd ticket, you know, the 85, 88 Wembley
Yeah.
Stadium. Yeah.
this was the following year. But that Wembley one, that was the I think the finale of that Invisible Touch tour that we played. That was 10 months worldwide tour, Invisible Touch.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, the finale to it. And a week later, I was in Toronto doing productions rehearsals with Pink Floyd.
Mm.
And then the next time I was back there was with Pink Floyd the following year. So this was 87, I think. And I was back there in 88 with Pink Floyd.
I think it's fair to say that barring true outdoor festivals, that's probably the biggest crowd you could get in the UK inside something.
Absolutely. That and probably, well,
Nebworth.
Nebworth.
But that's true open air, though, isn't it?
Because that's like a festival situation.
Yeah.
We're expanding.
So
that is an indoor-outdoor gig.
Right.
There's the Pink Floyd's.
Donington.
There's the Pink Floyd's. Donington, but that again is outdoors.
Yeah, it's outdoor.
Wembley, you're at least still within an enclosed space.
You're enclosed.
Yeah.
And the thing about when we did this with Floyd, the people, the council that run that area, Haringey Council, were notorious for overseeing health and safety and you know, they were just sticklers for regulation. I mean, in America they had the unions. In England we had town councils. You know, terrible for restrictions. And at Wembley they were the worst.
So did they regulate the size of the bollocks on the pig? The flying
Yes.
pig?
Yeah. Always. They did stipulate about how high we could fly it and things like that. You know, it was just all regulated. So, and you're supposed to finish there prompt at, I think it was 10 or 10:30.
Yeah.
And then they would cut the power off regardless.
Right. Yeah.
So what we did, and this was a scheme I think thought up by Gilmore himself, was to have generators with big padlocks on that they couldn't get at. So our power supply for the sound and lights,
It is.
we could turn off the stadium lights and stuff, but they couldn't turn off the Pink Floyd power.
I wonder, Mal, if that's where Slade got the album title "Keep Your Hands Off My Power Supply" from.
Maybe
Because that's a Slade album title.
Wembley Empire Pool, and it probably happened to them. Honestly, they were like the worst people in the world. You know, Jobsworths. Anybody that's English would understand what a Jobsworth is.
Was the same thing. The Greek, they've all got curfews because there's houses around them.
Yeah.
They've all got curfews, and remember the time they used to come in and monitor the sound. What was that? The decibels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, that's
You
They
did
still
the same thing at Wembley.
You know, that was it.
Yeah, they did the same thing at Wembley. They used to have a guy standing there with a dB meter. Well, you can't go over 94 dB.
I don't think the Who would appreciate that for one, but that's
Nobody did.
Well, no rock band of that generation would, you know.
yeah. So
But
they
they
only
all-
get
It
it's ridiculous.
was
isn't it?
nonsense.
I mean,
Absolute nonsense.
It's not like it's every night, you know. I mean, if they can put up with it for one bloody night till 11 p.m., you would think, but yeah.
And,
So
and what have they done now? Wembley Council have built loads of high-rise buildings. If you look at the new Wembley Stadium, which is still doing concerts and still
They can see right in.
They're now all high-rise. It's completely surrounded. So the people there are going to be even more disturbed than what they were before.
It's a free gig. I'd be like, great, I'm sit out in my balcony and have a beer and
listen and watch the fireworks at the end of the show.
The only gig I've ever been to at Wembley was the Stones in 81, I think it was, or 82, and it's not showing on the screen for some reason.
I went there.
Well, there we go. I was at this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? I couldn't see bugger all because I'm short. So I saw nothing. I knew there was a band playing somewhere at one end of the stadium. That was it. I couldn't see it. But then I was pretty drunk, so who cares?
Fine. Quick story. I took my daughter, who was about 15 or 16, to that show. I went on the Friday night. I know Stone's done multiple nights there then.
Yeah, they did.
I went on the Friday night, and they were absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
And I went home and I said to my daughter, who was about 15, 16 at the time, I said, come on, I'll take you to see the Stones tomorrow night. We'll go and see the Stones. This is probably the last chance you will ever get to see them.
I know.
Right?
They're still doing it.
That year.
You know.
Yeah.
So my daughter was 15, 16. We went there to see them. They were rubbish.
That's the day I saw them.
They had an off
Saturday.
night, which was quite often with the Stones back then.
But the other thing that happened at those gigs, and it happened that night, was there was a transit strike.
Right.
So we ended up walking back to Waterloo from Wembley because there was no public transport. Forget about getting a cab.
How far is that, Ryan?
Oh, it was, I don't know, it took us hours. It was
10
like
miles.
10 miles. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Good 10, 15 miles.
Yeah, so the two was on
Anyway,
strike.
my
They
daughter's
capitalized on
now
it.
52 and the Stones are still touring.
I know.
Yeah. Yes. I
So,
know.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Mick Jagger's as old as Biden, and just think about that. Look at that comparison. Not like
He's older.
like yeah, he's older than Biden. Biden's like falling asleep at the podium, and Mick Jagger's running back and forth.
But
He's
who's the
coming out
oldest?
to nightclubs at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't even go in nightclubs anymore. Never mind come out of them.
It's a healthy rock and roll lifestyle, mate.
It's
You live forever. You
That
know?
guy must run
You know?
about 5 miles every night on stage, so he's getting a lot of
man.
exercise.
Well, he tours with a personal trainer, works out 3 hours a day. He's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rainbow.
the Rainbow we did mention briefly last week, and I know Wilco, you for one have worked there many times with the Average White Band.
Yeah, we did it plus Billy Connolly. I was at that gig. I didn't work it, but I was there.
Yeah.
I worked who was it? It was one of those gigs that I just helped out with the road crew. Rick I can't think of his name, but he came from America, African American.
Rick Springfield.
No. It was back in the 70s. It was
I know a lot of people like the Jackson 5 played at the Rainbow. I mean, there's a lot of top American acts used to come over and play there. Queen famously did gigs there.
I think Spirit played there. I think Spirit played there.
Yeah.
I mean, between Hammersmith Odeon or the Rainbow, you know, I've seen Little Feat at the Rainbow. I think they might have recorded an album there, Little Feat.
Yeah. They actually did. I think you're right. I saw that when I was looking into this. The people that played there. You meant this poster does mention the 50th anniversary of the Rainbow because it was the Astoria before.
Yeah.
And then you've got Average White Band and Billy Connolly on the bill. It's hard to see, I know, on the screen, but
that was a famous night with Booby. And Billy Connolly turned on, he goes, Wilkie, have you seen Booby? Which was Billy's assistant. I went, why? He goes, I think he's lost my shoes. You know the banana shoes?
the banana shoe, yeah. I remember those.
Look at that. There's a classic one there. Wishbone Ash and the Average White Band.
That's why I wanted to show this one because it's perfect for you guys.
Price of those tickets. Look at the price of those tickets.
75 pence.
Not even $1.
I know.
That's how you pack the place. That's Brian, just a little technical question. I've got a friend texting me saying they want to make a comment and they don't know how to do it. How do they comment?
Well, I mean, they go into the chat on the right-hand side. If they've got a YouTube account, they can comment. If they don't, they can only view it.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
If you don't have a YouTube account, you can't actually comment.
Yeah, on the
Okay,
right-hand side up there, top
Unfortunately.
right-hand side, it says chat.
Yeah, you
Oh.
gotta have an account to
Okay.
you
Oh,
can
there you
view you can view the chat without that. You just can't comment. Yeah.
Okay. That's how you do it, Lina. That's
Yeah.
how you do it.
But thanks for watching and good to see you here.
Oh
And,
yeah, I mean, I don't know, there's some friends watching and stuff, so I just want to say hi and thanks for, joining in to Lina and to Carsten over in Germany, and can't actually see you, but I hope you're still there, hanging in and enjoying the show. But, yeah, that's iconic. That is.
I love that ticket. Yeah, I mean that's. But also, this is the Allman Brothers in the. I think Wilco. This was the era you were working with them as well.
Where's my mask?
Your mask, yes. So that's right. You need the mask, don't you? Yeah.
Is that Wilco?
Yeah, that was
I think
me
it was.
trying to rob a bank.
And just want to see Mark and all his glory.
Hey, came home. Remember me?
Where's your horse?
It's Dickie Betts. That's who.
I'm from Devon.
But yeah, Devon. That's the Wild West for sure.
The Wild West of England.
So yeah, Wilco, you were involved with the Allmans in this era where they did. Look at that, Apollo Manchester and 2 gigs at the Rainbow.
Yeah,
cool. Awesome
Those
stuff.
were the days.
It's a great venue. But another one that I really wanted to talk a little bit more about that, Mark, you mentioned that I'd never considered before was the Oval.
Right, there you go.
The cricket ground.
Yeah. I remember that gig really clearly. It was one of the biggest ones we did.
Look at that. Genesis,
supporting Wishbone.
The Melody Maker 1972 Pole Awards concert.
Yeah, Wishbone Ash headlining over Genesis.
Yeah, Focus, but obviously ELP.
Changed.
ELP got the Extreme Top.
They did. They had these. I think they were doing the Tarkus album.
Look at this.
There you go. That's what I was meaning.
This is ELP's stage.
I know. It took them hours to set up. They were fucking. Sorry, excuse my French.
That's okay.
They were disastrous, really. I thought, but I mean, who am I to say? But yeah, Keith Moon was at that gig as well, and I remember him specifically falling out of his Rolls Royce, in his usual condition.
What is that supposed to be, Mark?
I think it's.
It's their album, but it's nothing to do with us. It was ELP.
There's very. I could not find a good.
With a mouse's head or something.
It's a mouse's head, yes. I couldn't find a photo.
Armadillo. It's an armadillo, mate.
It's a Manticore logo that they used to use. It's like a anteater or something like that.
Yeah, it's an armadillo type thing. Yeah.
Armadillo. Yeah. Manticore.
That's Focus on stage.
Okay.
I couldn't find any of Wishbone Ash on stage, unfortunately.
What a terrible stage.
Yeah, it's horrible. But this is what the Oval cricket ground looked like. I've walked past it. I've walked round that wall. I've never been in it.
I've been there to watch cricket.
Yeah, well, cricket
England
is
West Indies.
Yeah,
that's a gig.
Well, I should say for those benefit of those in America, cricket is the only game in the world that you can play for 4 days and end in a draw. Okay, so just
if you're lucky.
Sadly, yeah.
but
what a crowd! And I'm trying to see the sound. I don't
know if that's the same gig or not, but it is a photo of.
I don't know how many gigs they actually ran there.
Yeah, well,
look at how many ice cream vans there was.
Yeah, that is Wishbone, but I'm not sure it's the. I couldn't find a specific one for the Oval gig. But the Genesis pushed it hard.
Cool.
I love the cricketer with the guitar.
Yeah.
If you look at that. But
all right, also appearing. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then another gig was done, but yeah, I don't know how many rock gigs were done there, but Frank Zappa had played there a couple of weeks before with Hawkwind.
It's all 1972. That was that was a peaking year for gigs. I mean, we were all over the world in 72 several times.
Yeah,
spinning around.
Yeah, but
it's when everything really kicked in. I think. I mean,
really
onwards. I mean,
well, there we go.
That's
That was
great,
a-
isn't
that,
it?
that was a £2 ticket.
Yeah.
Genesis was a £1 ticket.
So, what do you recall about that day, other than the ELP's shenanigans, Mark? I mean, it's
Well, I mentioned Keith Moon, and that stood out quite a bit, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it was, he's always the big celebrity, and he rolled up in his Rolls Royce, and there was a big hoo-ha about it, and just people flocking around him. It was, he had an entourage. Wishbone went down really well there. I remember the ELP gig being a bit of a disaster. I think it took so long to set up those stupid cannons that half the crowd had left by then. I think I definitely lost interest. I was probably in the bar most of the time after that. But a great occasion, absolutely great.
Rock and roll.
rock and roll. Yeah, I mean, these are just incredible memories, guys. But I'm just wondering if, the Turks. Thanks to Davina for putting all this great stuff in the in the chat all the time. Some of the history stuff, the Turkish thing. Scottish. I didn't know it was a Scottish artist.
Okay.
But that's great. But she also mentioned earlier the first. I wanted to go back to this about Wembley Stadium. The stadium became a musical venue in August 1972 with the London Rock and Roll Show, an all-star concert, which I'm assuming maybe had people like Chuck Berry and others, if it's the one I'm thinking of. And then that was the first one there. I guess it had just been sport up till that point. But there's certainly been some huge gigs there since. Despite Mal's best efforts, some of them went pretty well.
I seated. I was there with Genesis, and I get this call from the security guy, and he goes, "Mal, there's a guy downstairs asking for you." I said, "What's his name?" And he goes, "Well, I hear him mumbling over the radio." He goes, "Dalgleish, does that sound right?" And I said, "Kenny Dalgleish?" And he went, "Yeah, that's the guy." I said, "Send him in." King Kenny was there with Sammy Lee from Liverpool.
Oh, I remember Sammy Lee, little guy, wasn't he?
And I had tickets for them and sat them in the royal box. I said, "Kenny, I know you've been the other side to pick up a lot of trophies, but now you go on the other side to sit and watch." And nice. I sat him next to Paul McCartney.
Oh God!
Good job.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? If you think about it,
So that's just like memory for me, because I'm a Liverpool supporter, and King Kenny.
It's funny. The last time I was speaking to Kenny Dalgleish, he was speaking about you, Mal. He says, "You remember? Yeah, remember I met Mal Craggs one day." No,
yeah, it was at the party that we had.
Cool. He liked half a lager. That's all he would drink.
Yeah,
he wasn't a drinker. Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He's great. I love Kenny. I understood 1 in every 5 words he said, so we got on great.
I used to love his press things he did when he was managing Celtic and things weren't going so well, and he'd sit in a Celtic bar in Glasgow, and he would just be monosyllabic in the extreme. Yeah. Yes. No.
He's one of my favorite all-time football players, soccer players.
I mean, as a Scotsman growing up in that era, I just absolutely adored him playing for Scotland. We had such a good team, and still couldn't win bugger all. But so I've got one more iconic venue for you, which before we
such memories for me.
Well, we'll have it. We'll do a chat about football sometime. Yeah. It doesn't all have to be music,
There's a lot of sport linked in with rock and roll.
Yeah.
I'm sure all the guys, I'm sure Wilco has got sport.
Well, the Average White Band wrote the Cosmos theme song.
That's right,
yeah. Cosmos, yeah. Boom, boom.
You mean these guys? Those guys, you mean? The Average White Band?
Funky buggers.
Hamish was a great football.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So the last venue for today, in the time we have left, is possibly the most iconic. It's the Bongo Club in Middlesbrough. Previously known as the Caribbean Club, I believe.
I think we blew that up last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking it looks like a place you get some Jamaican food.
well, it is.
it does,
This is
doesn't
the
it?
Bongo
Yeah.
Club. Yeah.
Probably still do.
Yeah.
This is a recent photograph, but I believe this is the one that Granny referred to as the Caribbean Club in Middlesbrough. So
I think Granny has got more recollection of this than I do.
yeah.
You know, I could have been
never
on
been to
mushrooms.
Middlesbrough,
I could have been chewing mushrooms or something at this time.
So nobody remembers the Bongo Club.
No, I don't remember Middlesbrough.
Granny's the only one. There was
Yeah.
probably some piece of train memorabilia nailed to the wall.
Oh, I was hoping we were going to get through without mentioning trains.
So I did find a good article about
sorry.
venues in Middlesbrough, though. This is the Fillmore's with a PH in Saltburn. Fillmore's. And then there's the arena.
If you're going to go to venues around that area, the Kirk Levington Country Club.
All right, I'll have to look that up. There's
Check
the
that
arena.
one out. That was the one to check out.
The first time I ever seen Jeff Beck play, and that was with Jeff Beck, Rod Stewart, Ronnie Wood, and Mickey Waller.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll look that up. No, I'll make a note of that. I'm going to look that up. The Corner House. I don't know it. Yeah, do you remember any of these?
And the venues I remember from Middlesbrough Town Hall.
Oh, yeah.
City Hall.
I love this one. The Blue Monkey in Stockton, and there's a police van outside.
Classic.
The Heaven.
The bands to take them home.
Heaven in Stockton. I bet it wasn't Heaven.
No.
The Mall.
The
Mall. Oh, look, that's you, Mark. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's not.
You got the Redcar Jazz Club. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, Redcar Jazz Club. Well,
Redcar
that was
Jazz Club. Check that one out,
Redcar
Brian.
Jazz Club, the Kirk Levington Country Club.
All right, I'm going to write that. Kirk, I'm going to see you've made me write this
Kirk
down.
Levington Country
Get
Club.
back to work.
Fantastic. Seen guy called Terry Reid there, who was going to be the original singer with Led
I
Zeppelin.
remember that, yeah, Terry Reid.
But he couldn't do it because he was touring America. I think he was doing a tour with supporting Jeff Beck. And so he said, I can't do it, but I recommend this friend of mine, Robert Plant. Maybe he can do it.
Band
Maybe.
of Joy. Maybe.
Terry Reid, fantastic. One of my all-time favorite singers.
Yeah. Didn't he have a hit about dinosaurs, or am I thinking of somebody else? Dinosaur Shuffle or something, or something Shuffle?
No.
No. I remember Terry Reid.
Terry Reid's still doing gigs, by the
Terry
way.
Reid. He was a singer when he was about 15, and he was on tour with the Stones and Ike and Tina Turner, and he was the singer with some other band.
He's still
Can't
growing.
remember some big band, and he was the out front singer.
Peter
But he
J
was-
and the Jaywalkers.
He was just
Jaywalkers.
Yeah, that's them.
Is that right?
Peter J and the Jaywalkers.
From Horse's Mouth.
Peter J and the Jaywalkers.
I know Terry Reid had a hit. He did have a couple of hits, and I'm trying to
He
remember.
did. He lives in LA now,
Yeah.
or Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the-
Anyway,
We did not so long ago at the Orange County Fair.
Yeah.
we have it on this every
Fantastic
August.
singer.
I believe Andy Morrow, and greetings to you, Andy, knows the Blue Monkey in Middlesbrough. So it was rough as F. I'll bet it was. That's why
It still is.
it had its own police van that
What are you
just
talking
parked there
about?
permanently. Yeah.
Is he talking about Middlesbrough or the Blue Monkey?
Both.
Oh, what are you talking about? The Monkey Hangers.
See, Davina's got the Fillmore info. Fillmore Country Club. But I love the PHIL. That's great. Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, that was awesome. Thank you very much indeed for another extremely illuminating chat. I hope we brought back some memories for you guys.
Yeah.
These places. Yeah. That was awesome.
There's loads more, mate. We've got loads more.
Oh, we'll be back with more, everybody, next week. I'd like to thank everyone that's been in the chat today, watching us and chatting away. Davina, Andy, Karsten Lizard Schultz has messaged us from Croatia. So we have
Very
and we also
Karsten.
have
Karsten is the I think that's he's our agent in Germany for Martin Turner's band.
Nice. No,
And
good to see.
he's a heavy metal fan, Dustin. And he does promote gigs and shit. He's also a beer connoisseur.
Oh,
Samples
good
beer
man.
from all over Europe and stuff.
He's got the ideal life. he's
Yeah,
got the perfect life.
Let's put him on tour.
So greetings, Karsten, and also greetings to Lena.
Oh, Lina, there she is. It's Lina.
Hey,
And she's
Lena.
a very good friend of mine, and she's a star from Lithuania. She's
nice.
she was with a band called Mango.
All right.
Very poppy, very pop, Euro pop, but 30,000 people stadiums and stuff like that. She's an absolute star.
Well, thanks for joining us, Lena and Carson. Good to see you. Good to see everybody that's been in the chat. Thank you very much. We will be back next week with more memories, more history. We'll be also starting to plan some little side videos on some of these topics, just to explore them a little deeper. So we're working on that. And it's been fun. So Dustin, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Dustin.
Yeah.
Rock on, man.
Go and check out Keto Simple, Dustin's channel, where he talks about how to be healthy. So it's of no use to me. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely no good to me.
No good, sir. Rock and roll's the best way.
Yeah. Thanks, Dustin. And go check out Keto Simple and check my channel out, That 70s Rock Fan. My next show next Monday is going to be on the Masters of the Universe movie. So it's another edition of Canon Film Club. And then I think the week after we're going to do Motorhead. So speaking of metal. Motorhead, as they say.
Motorhead.
So gentlemen, any final words?
We're
For
going to be
me,
back
we'll
next
be in
week.
touch with Len from the Tremolos.
Yeah, I got to give him a call. So been slightly distracted recently, but I promised to call him. But yeah, thanks, gents. Mal, enjoy the rest of your birthday, mate. What's left of it?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mal. Have a drink now, mate.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers,
And-
Mark.
Have a Lemmy.
And until next week, keep on rocking.